A very good evening to one and all as we watch the closing innings of free practice. We're not going to get confused again this time. For the International Sim Drivers Association spring season of 2022 our camera off races are currently following around the gloriously turned out 888 Bentley of Dan Minton as he runs through the pit lane. It is torrential in Kyalami tonight, and as that is the one, that was a McLaren going round, the orange McLaren in the background there, but it is going to be a trial by water for all of our drivers tonight. The weather here in South Africa has been torrid for the entire week, and it is showing no signs whatsoever of letting up. Lots of potential for mistakes to be made left, right and centre. We sincerely hope that all of our drivers have learnt from the last time out, as this is the second race in a row that we've had rain affected races. All things being equal, we should see some slightly better behaviour than we witnessed last time out at Imola. Kyalami also a slightly better layout to be running in crowded packs as well. Based just outside of Johannesburg. Quite a few of our drivers tonight hail from down the road, including one of our staff members, who, if you are at all familiar with the crew, you'll remember that we had a lap in remembrance of Royalty's dad, who sadly passed away. But this is the home, and this is the home of quite a few of our drivers, so we should expect much quicker times. Andrew Brooker at the moment in the 130 Porsche heads to the line, but that is all just practice. These guys will be trying to get their eye in for the qualifying session coming up. Absolutely torrential weather. I don't know how we're going to be picking cars out of the melee as they come into turn one for the first time. Zach in the 899 McLaren holding on as best he can. It did look as though he has his hazards on. Where is that McLaren? Twitching as he comes over up towards the hairpin at the top of the circuit. He does have his hazards on. I wonder why. Yep. Perhaps worried that the McLaren is not quite going to be behaving as it should for the 899 driver. But nothing. Oh, there it goes. Just a slightest touch on the white line. This is what we need to be very, very careful of, what the drivers will have to be paying attention to. Cameron Drake, winner last time out. Not so tonight in the Mercedes AMG, by the looks of it. As he comes down into turn one, that is the end of the practice session. Now we head to a very, very important qualifying session for all the drivers. We'll just let the rest of the cars circulating get to the end of their laps. As always, for everyone in chat, good evening to Mally, good evening Steve, good evening Darko, good evening Mahalo. Unfortunate to not have you on the grid. Oh, and it's nighttime as well. The track is sodden once again. The reflections of the headlights showing just how difficult it is, and how difficult it is going to be throughout this session. As always, if there's things that I'm missing that you think I should be seeing, remember, I am in the YouTube chat. I can see everything that you are saying. If there's something that I need to be paying attention to, please do not hesitate to put it in the YouTube chat. Andrew Brooker, one of the first out onto the track as well. This is... I think he is actually the first one out onto track. This is going to be good for Andrew Brooker in that Porsche. Looking strong. Is there any chance we can do a onboard lap once he goes for his first flying lap? That would be wonderful for our stream director, as always. Doing fine work. So at least then I'll be able to take you on a corner by corner, just in case you don't know just the intricacies of this incredible circuit based in South Africa. It's going to be action from start to finish, and I can't wait to take you through every single turn. Whereabouts is the man? The man is coming out onto the start-finish line. Let's go on board for a lap around the Kyalami racetrack as Andy Brooker comes across the line through the kink at which isn't technically turn 1, but is down on the map. On the brakes into Crowthorne, he comes very neat and tidy as he tries to get over to the left-hand side really handily through the jet ski sweep and up to Barbecue where the backup pit lane is. Back on the throttle. This is where the Porsche in the dry would have a disadvantage, but it doesn't matter at this point in time as he comes down towards sunset. No sunset at the moment. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, and Brooker is keeping it neat and tidy on the exit now up towards Clubhouse Bend. This is a critical off-camber and very complicated corner to try and master. Now through the SS he comes, again off camber. This time the road comes towards you as you head up towards Leeuwkop at the top of the hill. Again, very complicated corners connected by very important straights. This is a double apex left-handed hairpin. Brooker gets the car in towards the apex. There's a lot more speed in that 130 car if he can find it. I think the rear engine gives him all the benefit as he comes down mineshaft through the kink and up towards the crocodiles, just trying desperately to keep the Porsche in a straight line. On the brakes in a straight line, you daren't touch the steering wheel. Under braking, you will go sideways, and then through Cheetah. This caught out many drivers last time we were here. And then on the brakes for Inga for the final corner, you look out over Johannesburg, just over that Armco barrier, and that is a lap of Kyalami. It looks simple when you aren't in a pack of cars, when you have that clear road ahead of you, but further back there will be drivers struggling in the spray. Is that the 55 car? There was a couple of drivers came through all in very quick succession. Lots and lots of spray coming off the cars in front. That's going to make visibility one of the key factors throughout the course of this race. We got the track guide out of the way. Now we can see what it's going to be like for 99% of the drivers tonight. Igor Van Coyle in the 55 car, struggling behind the Lexus RCF. You can see how much faster he is, but he can't do anything about it because he can barely see 2 feet in front of him. it's going to be, whoever wins this race, it's going to be a hard-fought win for sure. Andrew Brooker, as we saw earlier, was leading the way in practice, now pushed all the way down to 15th. Plenty of time left to improve that position. 58 car of Bouillon, who was running very, very well last time out as well, retires to the pits. The AM car, the 51 car of Barnabas Concoli in the Audi WRT Evo 2 car leads the way by a 1/10 of a second in this early stage of qualifying. Don't worry, I don't think we're going to have an AM car on pole position, but with the rain this heavy and the track this wet, it is very difficult to say. Maybe that Audi just has the edge in these wet conditions. Speaking as to how torrential the conditions are, it was only tonight that I discovered that Assetto Corsa Competizione has a flooded setting on the how wet the track is, so we might possibly see that come out tonight. And if it does, oh, believe me, I'll let you know. I think the drivers will let us all know as well, as they cry in agony. Jonic to the top in the NSX. How quick is that Honda going to be in race conditions? He's going quicker at the moment. 1:56.6 is an incredible time for that Honda. Who else is improving on a fast lap? Doyle is going faster. It's always good to see that NSX at the front of the field. I do hope that he is at least somewhere close to the pointy end come the end of the qualifying session. Other drivers going quickly. The 886 is coming down here. No, he's... Where is he on the track? He's just come down the hill. That's where I thought he was. Has lost time. It seems as though it's the run down the hill where everybody is struggling to make time. Radoslav Živkovic is up on his previous time by a marked improvement. Has kept the time relevant for the time being. Can he get it right through Inga? That's all he has left to do, judging by the driver tracker. Across the line he will come and pushes that Lamborghini to 5th position. What a showing from the Lamborghini driver, as T. Doyle in the BMW goes to the top. Another AM car, so the AM's really taking it to the pros today. And that is all for Doyle for the moment. 2 AM cars lead the way. As D'Couza in the number 80 car comes down to complete the lap. He's through Cheetah, just has Inga left to go. This is a good lap for the 80 Porsche. Engine all the way over the back axle, losing time, but he's still a second up on his previous lap time. This is going to be good. It's D'Couza in the 80 to the head of the field. Not to forget that the more that these drivers circulate round, the better the dry line will get, the more grip they will have. Meatball flag on show for one of the drivers, it seems. As Jonic comes around the final corner, he's going faster again. Is it enough to take provisional pole off of the number 80 of D'Couza? It is not, but he did get a good exit off the final corner. A good way to start another flying lap. Živković comes out of Inga now. He is up on his previous time, but not by enough at the moment. He'll push himself back up to 5th position. Good showing from Radoslav there. Jonic is... Raging Junker, is that supposed to be a song that I don't know? Unfortunately, I am not all that cultured. Niall Bullion in the 58 car is doing some fancy driving down in 21st. He's 1.7 seconds ahead as he comes out the final corner. What can he do? He loses time, but he will go 5th, pushing Živković out of that provisional 5th position. But plenty of time left in this session for the order to change entirely. Ah, it's a Croatian song. That makes me feel slightly better. I think the majority of the drivers have gotten the best out of the cars, apart from Fuertes. Something. Who is 1.5 seconds up as he comes out the final corner. Will push himself again to 5th position. There's something about that 5th position. Someone at some point is going to depose Barnabas Concoli from that 2nd position in AM and 4th overall. What else do we have? There's still 7 minutes left in this session. Plenty of time for a driver to... Yeah, Igor Van Coily was the man I was seeing as well. A little bit wide. He's going to lose some time, but it doesn't matter. The line will come soon enough. 8th position for the BMW driver. Jonic to the top with a 156.0. My goodness. What is he feeding that NSX? I am astounded at the pace of that Honda. I really am. VTEC kicked it, yo. Shutter in the... Where we're looking at Dan Minton, the 888 car is running faster as he comes up towards the top of the hill. The Bentley got the nickname Boatley for how good it was in the wet. It looks as though the Bentley isn't quite up to snuff at the moment, although this is mighty weather for ducks at the moment. I don't think this is really car racing weather. Just looking at the timing screens as Concoli is going significantly faster than he's gone before. Minton is quick as well, but Concoli in the Audi, that's a terrifying turn of pace that he's had. Minton's pushed down to 14th at the moment. What can he get out of the final corner? That was a brilliant exit out of Inga and pushes himself to 7th, but is immediately deposed back down to 10th. That's how difficult the conditions are. The Lamborghini is pulled to one side. It's a difficult question as to whether you want to be in clear air or not at the moment, given the conditions. 80 Porsche goes back to the top as well. And he's going to try it again. He's up at the apex, but was that apex speed a little bit too much? Perhaps he's so close on his previous time. He was off by 0.007 of a second on his previous lap time. That is enough for the 80 for the moment. Sean Buck has promoted himself, the number 2 BMW, to second position. Off camera, that is terrifying pace as well. Matty MX doing superb work in the number 886 Mercedes, showing that the Mercedes do have pace. He's closing up. It's so difficult at the moment to tell where the pace is. He's 0.3 up as he comes off of the hairpin at Leeuwkop. But can he maintain it down to the rest of the lap? It looks as though that Mercedes isn't quite happy with the balance when you're coming downhill. Aidan Doyle is working some magic in the 85, looking at the split times. This is, oh, and a massive spin for Matty MX. This could be game-changing as well for the 85 car. Aidan Doyle to the top of the timing screens. The 85 BMW nailing the lap. I wonder where he got that pace from, because that was an astounding lap to be able to get to under 155.8. The entirety of the timing screens are green at the moment. I have no idea where to look right now. Andrew Brooker is doing a very good lap time at the moment. He's about to... Where is he going? As is Shivkovic. Is in the early parts of the lap. Can we have a quick look at Mr. Brooker in the 130? As he comes down through the kink at the bottom of the mine shaft. He's up on his previous lap times by quite a bit, not quite enough, although it might be enough if he can hook it all together through these final two corners. Could be enough for pole. Brooker on the brakes into Inge. Can he get the Porsche hooked up coming out of the final corner? This could be pivotal for the 140 Porsche. Lost some time on the exit, but is it good enough for pole? It is not. Oh my goodness, a 155.9 would have had pole for so much of this session. But now a lowly-ish fourth. The end of a trio of Porsches interrupted by the 55 BMW of Igor van Koylina. This session, I feel as though I can't talk fast enough to let you know how the positions are changing. Turn 1 is going to be a test for all of these drivers, for sure. D'Couza currently sitting in fourth now in number 80, just ahead of 130 of Brooker. Is faster than he's been before by a significant amount. This could be a Porsche to pole if he can hold it all together. It's going to be the last lap for D'Couza. Through the S's he comes. Brooker's improving as well, but not as much as D'Couza is. That number 80 car is looking rapid as he comes up the hill on the brakes into Leeuwkop. Jonic is going faster as well. Everyone is pulling out their best times in these late stages of qualifying. Once again, the timing screens go a various shades of green. Yes, yes, Nicola. Good evening, my friend. Flag goes yellow. Oh, D'Couza has lost out a lot of his benefit. It could still be provisional pole. Thank you very much, man. It's good to be back. But Brooker will cross the line and go no further. This could be pole position for Takuza. He comes down towards the checkered flag and will go no higher than he was. Oh, that's heartbreaking. As the NSX of Jonic comes to the final corner, where is... Oh, he's going very quick. He's lost a bit of time again. Traction really starting to become an issue in these conditions. Can the NSX go to the pole? It is provisional pole position for Zoran Jonic. Jonic. Good grief. Can Miljevic go any higher? No, and that is as far as he will go. The NSX will lead the pack away. The gap between... Wow, that 24 car was so quick in that final lap. My goodness, we were starting at a 1:59. We have finished the session on a 1 minute 55.362 for Zoran Jonic. I will get it right eventually, I promise.
Alright, conditions are wet. We have some slippery curves, and also watch out for your braking distance.
An incredible start. So we have 2 minutes and 43 to get through this entire... How many cars do we have? 31 cars take the start for the Kyalami out 1 hour. Ahead, the head of the field will be led away by a very, very out of BOP Zoran Jonic in the 24 Honda NSX. Aidan Doyle in the 85 BMW will pull up alongside. The 996 of Matej Miksik will begin in third position. Fourth, Igor Van Coyle in the 5580 will be Dakuza. The 130 of Brooker to round out the trio of Porsches at the head of the field will be Andrew Brooker. Then comes the first of our AM cars, the number 2 BMW of Sean Buck will start 7th. Konkoli in the 51, second place in AM and 8th overall. Radoslav Zivkovic will start in 9th. Mattia Mex in the 886, another man to watch for the consistency in that AMG in 10th. D. Doyle will start the 44 BMW in 11th. Sean Shutter will start the 12 Lexus in 13th. The 58 of Noel Bullion will start 13th. Dan Minton in the 888 car will start 14th. Neil Greening will start 15th in the 25. The 806 of Valentine Fuertes? I think it's Fuertes. Valentine... I remember asking him last week. The 806 starts 16th. Remco Langdijk in the 36 will start 17th. 18th will be Marko Miljevic in the 7th. The 15 of Dems Malato will start 19th. 20th will be Cameron Drake in the 199. Pierre Duprise will start the Tintic Racing BMW in 21st. 22nd will be Otto Winkler in the 82 Bentley. Philippe Borovet, a name we are so familiar with, will start 23rd. George Van Coyle, too, will start the 990 from 24th. 25th will be Lee Bullion in the 74. Anthony Wilson will start the 96 in 26th. 27th will be Ivo Miljevic in the 998. 28th will be Nida Zak. 29th will be Wilfred Robson. 30th will be Paul Venter in the 42 BMW. And 31st and last will be Jacques Vermeulen in the 39 BMW. That is your 31 car grid. We have the safety car as always on standby, and as we go for the warm-up lap, let's have a very quick word from our sponsors, SRP. And we are back. A fairly slow formation lap for our drivers, although can you blame them? The track is reading as flooded. The grip levels are going to be 0 as the drivers take the green flag. Lots of caution needed as they come to the green flag. There we go. So pit lane starts for Wilson, Miljevic, for Wilson, Nidazak and Paul Venter. Penalties very slowly being handed out. Vermeulen is promoted to 28th. Drive through, this is where the penalties come through for infractions in the previous round. Start from the top. Radoslav Živkovic will have a 10-second penalty added to the mandatory pit stop in the pit window at 25 minutes past, or 35 minutes to go. The 886 of Mex will have 10 seconds also added. 5 seconds will be added to the number 13 at the pit stop. 25 seconds for the Miljevic car, number 7. And finally, Igor, I think it is, Miljevic in the 998 McLaren will have to serve a drive-through under racing conditions. As the drivers come down the hill, they begin to form up 2 by 2. Let's get that helicopter view going and appreciate just how difficult these drivers are going to have to go.
This is race control. Car number 998 gets a drive-through for failing to follow the qualifying ban start procedure. Car number 7 gets a 25-second time penalty for causing a collision in race 2 and dangerous rejoin. Car number 886 gets 10-second time penalty for dangerous rejoin and causing a collision. Car number 13, 5 seconds for causing a collision. Car number 68, 10 seconds for illegal overtakes. Cars 82 and 126, warnings for driving unnecessarily slowly.
Thank you. We wait with bated breath for the green flag to fly. Confirmation of those penalties.
Green light, go.
The race goes green. And we are go for an hour of Kyalami, the International Sim Drivers Association spring season for 2022 looks just like it should as they come into turn 1 for the first time of asking. They are 4 and 5 wide coming through. It looks as though they've all made it through at the moment. And the drivers are released from the pit lane as well. Oh my goodness, they made it through. They all made it through turn 1. There is contact in the background. That is a McLaren. As the timing screens all go crazy for the first sector. There is a McLaren very out of place there around Otto Winkler. As BMW's had issues as well. It's so hard to see in these conditions. Number 7 car of Miljevic is falling away. I think that was the car that had contact on the exit of turn 3, sorry. On the run out there. But we are under race conditions, and incredibly, somehow, we have remained green through the entirety of lap 1. I am astounded. These guys are such consummate professionals with their driving. Barnabas Concoli in the number 8 car, in the 8th place 51 car, being chased down by Dan Minton. Minton's had a brilliant start in that Bentley, up to 8th position now. Absolutely what we expect from the Bentley driver. Has a brief look to the inside. Is that to affect an overtake? Or is that simply because he wanted to be able to see? Oh, I wonder what it would look like to go on board with a couple of cars further down some of these trains. I dread to think how little visibility they must have. One of the few occasions that having a lower end PC might actually be an advantage. Oh, look at it. There's a car there. Poor Concoli has Shipovic for company, and you cannot see the car in front. Believe it or not, there is a Lamborghini there. It's not just fog. These are terrifying conditions. We've already had an improvement to wet as could we please go to external camera. Minton looks like he's going to have a look up the inside up towards Leocob. He is side by side up against the Audi. No point in defending at the moment for the AM leader, who is pushed off the track. Oh, how did he keep that in a straight line? Hats off to Barnabas Concoli, who will lose out, but nowhere near as much as he might have. What a save for the 51 Audi. Just go to show what a night and day difference they have made for this Evo car. Astounding. Oh, and there's an Audi gone round. There's Fuertes in the Blackpink Motorsports car coming down the hill. Is it going to be under brakes? He's not going to get any assistance. Oh, the car just went round. And it's such a dangerous position as well. He was so lucky to escape damage and an altercation with an oncoming car. It's the scariest thing to do. I dread to think what his heart rate must have been. Oh, as there's been an incident at turn 1. That is Doyle involved in the BMW. There's another car involved there. BMW looks like he's relatively out on his own. That's really strange. Is that something that has happened ahead of him? Oh no, it's going to be the Lexus. Oh. And a rear impact as well for the BMW. So now they've gotten through lap 1, and now they can start throwing it at the scenery. Just seen another car, yep, Vigor Van Coyle in the 55 car, who was in 4th position. That is going to be a big old drop for, and Brooker as well has lost a position at least. Or has he gained a position? No, he gained a position because Van Coyle spun it at the... It's not barbecue, it's Clubhouse Bend. That's the one. Meanwhile, the 22 BMW marches on through spray and fog. He has come to the AM car of Remco Langendijk. Shouldn't be too much of an issue for Borovets to pass. But you never know, these AM drivers, they're feisty sometimes. Just because they're AM doesn't mean they're not quick. Normally what it actually ends up meaning is that they make slightly more mistakes. It's Winkler in front. Yes. Did I read I read the wrong way around. That's fine. Also, Winkler in front. Remember, Remco Langendijk is behind, but they're all so close at the moment. All of these could be switched around, and it's a nightmare trying to see through the fog. Borovets goes wide. This isn't going to hurt him all that much because he can get the power down a little bit earlier, but there is an Aston to the inside of Remco Langendijk. Inside becomes the outside as they come through Sunset. The BMW will be slower. But my goodness, that Aston Martin's looking twitchy as well. So delicate is the Pirate Racing driver.
This is the race control. Car number 199 and 806 under investigation. Lap 1, turn 5. Over.
Yep, that sounds absolutely spot on for race control. Oh, Minton pushed it a little bit too hard coming down through mineshaft. Didn't lose out any time somehow, but is now up to 7th position and hunting down Zivkovic. Doesn't need to push too hard. He could sit behind. He's not really losing out all that much. Is that Bentley set up for race trim? Or has Minton finally got on top of the conditions? 7th position now. What has happened here with the 39 car? Coming down through mineshaft. Oh, this is going to be through a kink, isn't it? It's never a small incident if it happens through the kink. Oh, it was a big twitch. Oh, man. He was so fortunate to get all of that speed scrubbed off before he hit the Armco barrier. I think it's the tyres there. Yeah, before he hit the tyres. The tyres will have cushioned the blow, but that will still be a very, very difficult car to drive. Comments coming in from YouTube chat. Radoslav Zivkovic, Minister of Defence, coming up for that 6th position. Meanwhile, Konkoli in the 51 car hunting down. This is for positioning class. The Miljevic car, McLaren mid-engine, going to be struggling in these conditions. Very, very brave to be sitting out over that curb. I don't know if he necessarily had a choice though. Through the S's they come. And up towards Leukop. How brave is Konkoli in the Audi? Not brave enough, but he's got so much apex speed compared to the McLaren. But the McLaren can just accelerate away, and then he falls into the clutches ever so slightly of the 990 of George Van Coyle. Over the last part of the lap they come now. And the BMW's up the inside. Audi couldn't get the drive, and the BMW front engine just used the power and the grip to be able to get out of the corner further back. This one isn't for position necessarily, but there is a level of pride, obviously. Oh, on the white line for the 74, and a slow, lazy spin. There's another BMW as well that's had a spin coming down through mineshaft. Oh man, it's all falling apart for the BMWs now. As it turns out, water is their weakness. I mean, we knew that already. If anybody actually drives a BMW. Yeah, they don't like rain. They don't like snow. They don't like any kind of inclement weather. But Minton riding all over the curbs in desperate hunt of the 6th place. Radoslav Zivkovic. I will get my tongue around that name at some point. He really isn't losing out much to the cars ahead. It looks as though if he can just hang on to the coattails, save tyres, save fuel, then it might be a case of waiting for the pit stop cycle to come. Hope that Zivkovic can... Oh, as there's a pass in front as well. Hoping that Zivkovic gets on the pits early.
This is race control. Car number 199 gets a 5-second time penalty for lap 1, turn 5 collision. Over.
That sounds absolutely fair. Race directors did say that they were going to be more harsh after the catastrophes of last week. There was some driving standards issues that came to the fore in Imola. Now this is interesting, this battle over 4th position. Andrew Brooker has just usurped the 80 of D'Couza for 4th. But D'Couza's starting to come back at him. The Lamborghini of Zivkovic could potentially buy in to a 5th or 4th position here, and Dan Minton as well is, again, just biding his time. We know that he runs best in clear air, and his pace is blisteringly quick when it needs to be. Was that a nose up the inside from the Lamborghini? It was, as they come down towards the S's. This is going to be an almighty dive for the Lamborghini. Bravery itself for Zivkovic, proving that he can absolutely do it both ways, and it looks as though Minton might have the drive coming up towards Leo Cup as well. The Porsche's struggling, can't go, oh, goes to the inside. That's a very aggressive block from the Porsche, but Minton might have the power coming down the hill as well. Depends on how well he gets off. Oh, the slightest slides, and Miljevic. Marko Miljevic, oh, just a lazy slide for the McLaren. How did they avoid him there? Honestly. Oh, and he's going to reverse across as well. That's a terrifying, terrifying incident for all concerned. The downside of these GT3 cars and their wonderful electronic wizardry is that you can't just flick the tail around in a burnout. But now the Porsche goes to go aggressive in front of the 888 car again. It looks like Minton is just biding his time and letting these guys fight it out. Still behind, but only for the time being, of course. Through sunset they come, and oh, there's a twitch for Lamborghini in front. Zivkovic got out onto the curbs and got the tiniest of wiggles, pushes himself and the Porsche back towards Dan Minton, and I wouldn't want to be D'Couza with that big Bentley in my rearview mirror. Not that he can see anything out of his rearview mirror, you understand. If last week was a challenge, this is a marathon. The last race might have been 2 hours, but this is an absolute marathon of a race, or it will be.
This is race control. Lap 3, turn 5 collisions are under investigation.
So plenty of altercations that we didn't see on screen then. Oh, that was a very uncomfortable bump over Cheetah. Igor Van Coyle looking to pressure the Lexus of Bellato. Bellato driving the potentially better car in these wet conditions. Meanwhile, the leader Zoran Jonic is leading the way, has set a fastest lap of 1:56.0 already. That NSX is absolutely on fire in the early stages of this race, and absolutely no one can hold a candle to the sheer pace of Zoran Jonic. Further back, hassling does the 55 car. As they come through the first sector, the Lexus looks very, very planted. The BMW looks a little bit twitchy, a little bit more front definite than the Lexus. It sounds good, but when you're having your downforce taken off like that, look at how much he closes under braking. There's a lot of pace in that BMW. He sticks to the tighter line. Will he try and make the cut back at Clubhouse? No, but this is only a matter of time. This is for in-class conditions as well, so it makes absolute sense for the Lexus to park it exactly where he needs to keep the BMW behind. BMW's out wide, loses traction. That's how key keeping on the black stuff is at the moment.
This is race control. Car number 25 gets a stop and go 30 seconds for causing a collision in lap 3, turn 5, and dangerous rejoin. Over.
The 25 car. The 25 car is Neil Greening, so what happened to Neil Greening? It was a incident responsibility as well as an unsafe rejoin, so plenty of egregious behavior already. But that will likely also have repercussions later into the race. Takusa is hassling the Lamborghini. I don't know, as the Porsche has the straight line speed to overcome the pace of the Lamborghini in a straight line. Peculiarly, the Bentley is falling off the back of this. This is all for now to the moment. Zivkovic is going to lose 10 seconds at the pit stop, so he's going to drop him right out of this fight. Oh, and he goes over the curbs on the inside and spins to driver's left. The lightest of contacts, but it is front and back for the 68 Lamborghini. And will rejoin, thankfully, in a safe manner and reclaim the racing line, with the Lamborghini exiting stage left, as it were. We're down to a two-car battle over what is now 5th position, with Sean Buck in the number 2 car, very, very slowly but surely closing in. I think the drivers might be starting to run out of rubber in these conditions. The rain is starting to ease at the moment, but there are dark clouds on the horizon that may well spell for stronger rain later on in the race.
This is race control. Lap 3, turn 2, collision between cars 13 and 44 under investigation.
Oh, turn 2. That's... oh man, it really was quite a bit of a mess in the end then. Hiccup seems to be going out. Where are the closest battles at the moment? The 55 is fighting with the 15 of Bellato still. And only 7/10 of a second further up is George Van Coily as well. That has potential. Yeah, they come down in towards sunset. Still there, this fight. The BMW looks so certain on the front axle, but just can't keep the rear axle in check. Misses the apex, goes for the karting line through Clubhouse, now down through the S's. There is obviously pace in this 55 BMW, but just cannot get past the Lexus in the conditions that they're in at the moment. Up towards Liukop, they come again. Audi gets on the brakes. Concoli now up behind Winkler. Borovets too, absolutely hunting for positions to be gained in that BMW. We have a penalty incoming.
This is race control. Car number 13 gets a drive-through for causing a collision with car 44. Over.
Thankfully, that doesn't affect the battle we're watching at the moment. That is behind this little group. Not by much, though. And Otto, can he get the traction down out of Inga? It looks as though the Aston just about has the edge over the 82 car. although it is touch and go between everybody here. I think they might be waiting for a bit of a strategy pull. 2 minutes to go, 2.5 minutes until the pit window opens. I wonder if we're going to see a lot of alternate strategies coming and going. Ooh, that's very, very close for Igor Van Coyle. That's close enough, mate. You do not want to be right in the bumper there.
This is race control. Cars 22 and 89 under investigation for lap 2 turn 2 collision.
Some BMW on BMW action there at the start of the race. Meanwhile, BMW versus Lexus is absolutely on as he looks to either side. Takes the wide line. Lexus outbrakes himself. Can't get to the apex. That's the tiniest little bit of network lag, but maybe the Lexus is struggling. But BMW gets a massive twitch of oversteer on the exit, and that puts pay to that attack. Meanwhile, just in front of that is George Van Coyle, who is now backing into Bellato. That is causing a bit of a stopper in the flow. 1 minute and 22. These guys are going to be right on the money for an early pit stop if they so choose. Strategy is going to be critical in this race because the way that the drivers have... As Barvet spins, and he's on the racing line as well. The 899 has to take evasive action. I don't think that you could call that an unsafe rejoin. He was trying to get out of the way of the track. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! 12 outbrakes, the 15 outbrakes himself. 15 outbrakes himself into turn 1 and loses out as well. Everything's happening in waves in this race. Where's the 22 car going to rejoin? All of that work done by Philippe Barvet undone in a single corner as the 130 loses out to the 80 car. Now the battle becomes Porsche, Bentley again, but in a different order, and now the 130 has to go defensive against the Bentley. Bentley tries to look towards the outside. Porsche keeps it tight. That's really strange that they're using that tighter line in these wet conditions.
Pit window is open.
Pit window opens for 10 minutes from this point. Who is going to jump early? Who's going to try and get the clear air? And who is going to stick it out longer to try and overcut the drivers? I feel as though there's going to be a few drivers diving straight in to the pit lane. And that's it. Prove me wrong. Pit window's open. I see no drivers in the pits at the moment. I must be honest, I think I personally would have been, if I'm in any of these trains, there's about 5 trains around the lap, and I think I would be ducking out of these trains to try and get some clear air. No one's running at their ultimate pace. Here they all come. Here they all come. The 68 of Zivkovic into the pits. Igor Van Coyle into the pits. Bellato in the 15 car is in. Concoli is in. Nidazak is in. Porventa is in from 18th position. Dupreez, Boulian also into the pits. So the drivers further down the field taking the gamble on some fresher tyres. But a mighty impressive run it would be if they managed to get some clear air. Igor Van Coyle is down already. And rolling is the 55 car. So a driver to be keeping an eye on then is the 55 car and how Van Coyle can progress. Meanwhile, on track, the over-under, he's going to try it again, is Dan Minton, but it's not going to work. The Porsche holds the centre of the road. Bentley's got the straight line speed, just not the confidence through the corners. Oh, this could be a big dive on the brakes. Not just getting up in the mirrors of Brooker. It does the job. Brooker misses the apex, but with with crocodiles, you don't really lose much by going wide. Where is that chocolate
This
car?
is race control. Car number 22 gets a 15-second time penalty for causing a collision with car 89. Car number 89 gets a 10-second time penalty for dangerous rejoin. Over.
Race control really pushing the point with these dangerous rejoins. We have high standards here at ISDA, as we've seen plenty of times before, and we do not give any exceptions for those very, very high standards. Minton's got all the speed on corner exit. That's how he's getting so close. Oh, was that a touch on the Porsche? I don't know if it is. If it was, then it's surely netcode, because Minton was absolutely nowhere near on my screens anyway. That's the pass made. Minton to 5th, with D'Couza having set the fastest lap of the race. And a lap down BMW left to come. Sean Buck in the 2 has pitted and rejoins. Where's he going to fall to? That is the 74 car around him. Assuming that's for position. It looks like Buck has only lost 1 position in that pit shuffle. In class anyway. What incredible timing there, as traffic getting in the way of the racing. This is where it all starts to get difficult. This is where the strategy plays a role. Bentley into the pits. Minton having made the pass on Brooker, proving that it's possible to be done. Dropping into the pits. Oh, there's a spin in the background. Is that a Mercedes? It looked as though it might have been. Yes, absolutely. We'll go on board with Jonic, your incumbent race leader. Where is Jonic? He's in the pits. And now he rolls out. So this is going to be a very unique perspective to see the drivers leave on cold tyres, not up to pressure. A masterclass incoming for Zoran Jonic. I'm very, very interested in the hesitancy there. I've got the readouts from the dash. So gentle on the brakes. Next to no pressure being applied. And just so ginger through all the corners. Out wide. That's very, very brave from the NSX. That really is. That 24 Honda. I tell you what as well. That Honda has got a massive amount of space ahead of him. The only car within 10 seconds is the 25. Is the 25 car of, I think that is Neil Greening. Yeah. Who is laps down and struggling. The trouble is, this car still will not be anywhere up to pressure and temperature on the brake. The brakes will have cooled off in seconds. Oh, he misses the apex, but still gets the throttle down. Impossible conditions for all of the drivers here. Drake, Mex, Langendijk are into the pits, as well as Shutter down the back of the grid. A little bit of a dead spot here we will probably find, as
this is race control. Car number 199 gets a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision with car 886. Over.
So, Drake hasn't pitted either. That's good for Drake. That means that he has the opportunity. Oh, he's in the pits now. So that is going to be a 5-second penalty that he has to live with until the end of the race. Very, very difficult conditions. Plato then in the 15 car has served his pit stop. Oh, and what is that? Is the 82? Is that Remco? Is that no? That's Otto. That's Otto. A massive spin. He served his penalty already. As Zivkovic is off. I said these conditions were tough. He tried to get on the brakes. He couldn't do it. And snookers the Mercedes. Which Mercedes was that? That was an incredible pin. 886 car. I know that number. That's not a number I wanted to hear. That's Matty MX. As Cameron Drake having issues as well. He's going to come right back into line in front. Is the 199 car. He's going to wait this time. Doesn't try to. I think that's just about fair. He shouldn't have gone back to the racing line. I will say that much. But what a difficult. As Zivkovic around again. What is going on with these cars? Has the track dried? Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of bodywork damage on the front of that car. They'll be hoping beyond hope that the bonnet pins stay down and he doesn't end up with a carbon fiber bonnet in the face. It's entirely possible though. Now having to defend against, that is a BMW. Also the 74 car of Bouillon, there we go. And Valentine Vuetes into the pits now. I think that is the last of the mandatory pits been served, apart from Andrew Brooker.
Pit window is now closed.
Well, this is an issue. Can we put the camera on the 130, please, in the lead of the race? The pit window is closed. Andrew Brooker in the 130 has not pitted. A clerical error for the 130. He's going to drop into the pits now, but it doesn't matter. The pit window's gone. This is not going to count, and he is going to have an almighty penalty come the end of the race. He was mere seconds away from getting it so right, but just, oh my goodness. All he needed to do was a couple of seconds more to be able to take an absolute win as far as the strategy was concerned. Minton is going to go through to fourth position, sorry. Mixic in the 996 is not that far away, actually. But Sean Buck in the AM-Class BMW is hunting down for fourth position now. It makes no sense for Buck to be pushing the case with Dan Minton here, as I think Andrew Brooker might have just realised his mistake. As is Anthony Wilson serve has accrued himself a drive-through? Yes. So there will be, I think, 30 seconds or so if we're getting it right. I have this weird feeling that it might be more than that.
This is race control. Lap 17, turn 2, cars 68 and 886 under investigation. Over.
Meanwhile, a terrifying fight over 8th position on the road. Get the cameras right, there we go. It is BMW, Lexus, Aston Martin, Audi, all separated by less than half a second. The 130's off. So Brooker at, where is that? That's the exit of Sunset, I would suggest. Yeah. Had a kick of oversteer and couldn't quite control it. Fresh tyres. Cold, fresh tyres. The order of the day. Zoran Jonjic sets fastest lap again as Sean Buck sets a new purple with the 80 car then following it up as well. D'Couza is the fastest lap at the moment, so fresh tyres, slightly less water on the track, and suddenly these cars absolutely come alive. Meanwhile, this train, this fight over 8th position, it's still attached by a small, fairly short shoestring. It looks as though Van Coyle has just about eked out a bit of a gap, but there is going to be, I have a feeling, a penalty coming for that number 15 car. I am not 100% sure. I dare say nothing, but there was an almighty punt. Is that the only Lexus? I thought we had a number 12 Lexus as well. 13, the number 13 Lexus. So it could have been 13 that was involved. But there was an almighty punt. The Lambo isn't going anywhere now. I well believe that, as Otto Winkler looks to try and defend that 23rd position from Robson. We saw this happen building earlier on. Winkler stays to the inside. Can the BMW get the cutback? It's going to be a very tight line for the Bentley, but the car is wide enough to just keep it in check and keep that position. Robson will have to rethink his attack and try that all over again. Exciting times up and down the field.
This is race control. Car number 68 gets a stop and go 10 seconds for causing a collision with car 886. Over.
Race director, while you're here. Damn it. He went. That's fine. It's very good being able to have that communication with the race director. It's great that they are so committed to having that transparency. You'll find that everywhere around the International Sim Drivers Association. Absolutely normal. Is that Brooker that has been in the pits? Is that Brooker now a lap down? That is Brooker now a lap down. I think he might be trying to get his pit stop to reset. I think that is a massive, massive miscalculation for Andrew Brooker. The tiniest of timing changes and he would have been absolutely spot on for the end of the pit window and have the mightiest of tyre benefits coming down into the final sector as Concoli runs wide in the Audi. That 51 car looks absolutely incredible, but it's not going to look all that good if it's running wide. That fight over 8th position has kind of fallen apart a bit now. Concoli, Langendijk is hunting Bellato still, but even that has begun to drift out ever so slightly. What else do we have around the track? D'Couza in the number 80. This is going to become a 3-car battle fairly quickly between Dan Minton, Sean Buck and D'Couza. The 80 Porsche engine over the rear axle, as we've said so many times before, has all of the traction in the world and then loses out. Willkommen. No, sorry, wrong language. Welcome to Dane Taylor, Royalty. My friend, how on earth are you doing? It looks as though the race, I'm going to commentate curse it right now. It looks as though the pace might have settled down into the final 20 minutes of this race session.
I think everyone's got their rubber duckies on and they are getting used to the conditions.
So, let me get this straight. There aren't monsoon grade tyres for GT3 cars, right?
No, there are only something with tread and something without tread.
Oh my goodness, it's do you have I have so much sympathy for the drivers out there. How well is this awful weather representing South African weather at the moment?
This is just a taste of what we normally have here. not this time of the year, but beginning of the year, end of the year, you can expect a lot worse than this.
That's terrifying, and I wish I didn't know that. That sounds absolutely awful. For those who don't know, Dane Taylor is our South African crew member. I was about to say correspondent because my brain has been watching too much Jonathan Pye. How has the race been from a steward's perspective tonight, Mr. Taylor?
I am so grateful that we didn't have to call the safety car on the first lap, or in fact have a full course yellow. I think everyone has learned from the prior rounds how to behave going into turn 1. So I take my hat off to everybody. And it's actually been a quiet night. We haven't been rushed. We've been able to go through everything and make sure that the right penalties get handled or handed out to the correct people. And I think we are just a little bit more firmer than what we would normally be. But due to the conditions and the prior warnings we have given to everyone, the hammer is not small and it's not been dropped lightly.
Yes. I did say earlier in the race that there was a slightly a firmer hand being applied after the amount of incidents last time. But it's good to have the level of driving return to ISDA. I think it's fair to say the driving. We've just had information from a couple of places around the server. Apparently, Mr. Brooker managed to take dry tyres twice in the pit stop. So it was slightly more than a clerical error. Not only did he miss the pit window, but he's then trying to negotiate this absolutely sodden track on slick tyres. How much of a challenge is that going to be?
You need to be skilled beyond skilled to drive with slick tires on this on the circuit.
He has
in
a
its
Porsche.
current state. That's not going to help him.
Oh, okay. I've been looking at the weather. As I said to you before the race, I did not know that ACC had a flooded setting for the track until today. You've driven in these conditions in this game, I assume. You've tested this out to make sure it's not going to be absolutely impossible.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't say I tested it in these cars. We had similar conditions in a Super Trofeo Cup series, and let's just say that's even more horrendous.
Oh, I can imagine.
Than what they're facing now.
It's okay. We'll just take the Porsche Super Cup cars around here.
If you have a death wish. If you have a death wish, well, I mean, they've got a lot more mechanical grip than electronic grip, so they might actually do a lot better than what you think.
Yes, absolutely. No. I'm not. I'm not thinking that that it's going to be a nightmare, but it'll certainly be a challenge. That's a car off to the outside. That is, who is that? That's a BMW. I think that was one.
That is Borovic.
That's Borovic. Yes. So the BMWs are having a nightmare of an evening. I have no idea what's going on with the BMWs tonight. Are they really not liking these conditions, or is that what have you seen that we haven't? Because obviously we've only got a couple of perspectives to live with at the moment. Is there any kind of correlation? Because the BMW seem to be completely off the pace and struggling to keep it in a straight line.
I just think that the size of the BMWs and their wheelbase is just not suited for a track, this specific track in this condition. They're not able to apply the grip where they need it. I mean, you've got the right drivers behind the wheels, but it's turning into cars letting their skills down. Yeah.
So it's we will see a resurgence of the BMWs next time out. I have no doubt. Is there anyone who can take it to Jonic in the lead of the race right now? I saw in YouTube chat earlier that apparently the Honda is naturally fast around here, but it seems as though that 24 Honda is just in a different class at the moment.
Yes, no, the short wheelbase, the whole Honda is just really balanced well. And in these types of conditions, it shines. If you can compare the Honda to a Mini when it's raining, a Mini will beat and eat up a GT40 in a matter of seconds going through the corners because of its short wheelbase.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I mean, the Honda's the same. That short wheelbase plus its nimbleness it's outshining everyone else.
Absolutely. Oh, that was a big twitch from the M4. I don't think that was necessarily... That was for position. Was that Paul Venter losing out 16th to Doyle? It was. Oh my goodness. So BMW is still struggling in these conditions. Dane, thank you for popping in. Give us, I tell you what, as I think we are probably just about okay for action for the moment. Give us a little bit of home advice. This is a track very close to your heart, very, very, very close to your heart. So without letting us in too much, give us the rundown of Kyalami and history and things that make it good personal to you.
Well, I mean, Kyalami's gone through about 4 different iterations since its entry into the motorsport arena, being first a very short circuit for your F1 years pre-1990. They then went through a major update, which is more or less the layout that you see now, minus 1 or 2 alterations. I mean, it's been handed down by 3 or 4 different owners, 2 of which I know personally. I have a very soft spot for turn 1. I mean, at one stage there was a dent in the road where my head hit the circuit. We won't go. We won't go down that road too much. Crocodile is probably the one corner where I have a lot of, good memories. Spending my Saturdays and my Sundays watching the local racing, watching guys put it into the wall, watching bikes fall and guys rolling through the kitty litter. I mean, it's a track close to my heart. I mean, I spent a lot of time there with a certain mentor / father that has taught me a lot. I mean, he's made it possible that Kyalami is where it is today, and that we have the racing that we have there today.
Yeah.
It's just a pity they don't have the plaque on the start-finish line in the game.
I know. I know, man. I so would have got to put start on that. That's where you start the stream, isn't it?
Yes, that's where you started.
Yeah, absolutely. I am so upset that we don't have that we can't talk too much about the rest of it. But yeah, plenty of history for Kyalami. As you say, used to be Formula One, and now just an absolute jewel in the crown of the GT3 racing circuit. And yeah,
and soon to have Formula One coming back.
Oh, they're coming back.
To be honest, there's a lot of a drive to get Formula One back to Kyalami.
From your intimate knowledge with the track, how likely do you think that is?
It's about a 90% chance that we can get it back. Their obvious concern will be the last corner, which is, I mean, it's 2 corners from where we are now. No, I mean, if you're watching this on the stream, you won't see it, but there's about a 10-meter drop at the back of that corner. So if you had to go straight there, you would be falling for quite a while.
So how big is that cliff? Just let's talk numbers very quickly. And that is the last corner is down into Johannesburg, if I remember the orientation of the track correctly.
Yeah, it's looking into Santon. And
whose garden would you fall into if you happen to go over the Arnco at Inga?
Well, it would actually still be part of the track, to be honest.
Okay.
There's only bush and grass and trees behind that section.
Right. Okay. So it's not the end of the world, but let's be very, very fair. Going over the Arnco and escaping the track boundaries is not a great look for. How could they deal with that? What's your take on that?
So they would probably install a catch fence, which they use in the street circuits that they run on. So it would be something very similar to that.
Right. So yeah, literally, even if there was a critical brake failure and they hit the Arnco at unabated speed, it would still stop the car.
Yes.
Essentially. Right. Okay. But you think, because there's a lot of elevation in this circuit, do you really think that, for example, at turn 1, that they can put down enough runoff to be able to make it safe to FIA standards?
Well, it's already grade 2 FIA, so it's for testing purposes, it's perfect. They would probably just need to enhance the kitty litter, or maybe extend that part of the barrier back by 5 meters and then just put in more of a kitty litter there, and that should then easily mitigate the concerns.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't think of anywhere else. Whereas the only thing that I would think of is at Leeuwkop, because I feel like Leeuwkop is, if you consider the speeds that you'd be coming through the S's, you come up the hill, you get on the brakes, there are no brakes. It feels as though the current F1 cars with their underbody downforce may actually take off over the top of that brow.
Yeah, yes and no. It's not so much of an incline that it would cause the F1 cars in their current configuration to do a 4-wheel, look at me mom, no wheels on the ground type effect. But still, it's a very blind corner for an F1 car, because you're already sitting low and you can't see what's at the top of that corner.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll have to be policed very strictly. But
yes.
It's possible, says the man who would know.
Yes, there is all possibility that Formula One will be coming back to Kyalami.
So you heard it here first. If you want to see Kyalami back on the Formula One circuit, make some noise, because it is entirely possible, and I think it would be a welcome return.
Would be a good return.
There we go. Dane Taylor, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for the work that all of you are doing up in the stewards room, and hopefully we will be able to speak to you another time.
Yes. Enjoy the rest of the race,
very much,
and
mate.
always good commentary.
Thank you, bud. Catch you in a bit.
Cool.
We also now have an who's had a bit of a race from hell.
Hey, Ike. Hey.
How you doing, mate?
I'm good. You?
Not used to hearing your voice this early in the evening. How's the race been? How's the BMW been, more specifically?
It was awful. It was, I think, 2 seconds of the pace in heavy rain. It might work when it's raining less. I really don't know, but here the car just didn't work. On the exits, in the corners, I don't know. It was awful.
What? Just too much oversteer, or?
I had oversteer on entry, on power, understeer too. So
Good
it
grief.
was yeah.
There's just no grip from the BMW at the moment.
No, I tried everything with the setup, but I couldn't get it to work. So, and I crashed. I don't know, really heavily into the wall. So I didn't want to kill anyone and ruin the race. So I just parked it in the pits.
I think we saw that. It looks as though all of the BMWs are struggling. So, an Achilles heel for sure for the BMWs. But you'll come back stronger next time out?
I'm actually going to miss the next 2 races.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm going to vacation, so I won't be home.
Right. Well, I tell you what then, as unfortunate it is that we've had to end your run of races in this way, have a lovely couple of weeks, and hopefully you'll come back refreshed and the grids will be slightly kinder to you.
Thanks, man. I will.
Good man, and let us know when you're back so we can catch up. Philippe Borovets, sorry. An unfortunate end to the evening, so close to the end, but as always, you are one of the best in the business, so absolute condolences to you. Hopefully you can come back stronger.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Have a good evening, mate.
Bye-bye.
And now, after all of those interviews, we come to the final lap of the race, and a Honda leads the way with a 9.5 second gap to the cars behind. The chat is going crazy already as Zoran Jonjic comes down towards the crocodiles for the final time under race conditions. We'll put a lap on Andrew Brooker, who pitted twice and accidentally put dry tyres on twice. It has been a run from flag to flag. He barely even gave up the lead of the race during the pit stop cycles. It is going to be the 24 and Zoran Jonjic to win in Kyalami for the International Sim Drivers Association Spring GT3 season. Further back, the Porsches fight for 5th and 4th. Around the final corner, it is the 80 around the outside. Will have the traction, but can the 996 defend to the line? It is going to be tooth and nail, but they come to the line. Dakuza, the 80 car, takes 4th in the end for Mixic. And Dan Minton from absolutely nowhere in the Bentley to a podium position for the 888 car. What a race! Kyalami really bringing the goods, and all of our ISDA drivers absolutely showing us why they do this and why ISDA is so highly cherished among all of the community members. Vermeulen had to retire for technical issues as well. Just looked in the chat. His paddle shifters decided to stop working. Technical issues, as always, being the bane of everyone's life. The 886 is going the wrong way around the track. What's going on? No, he's just rejoined. So, is Mattia Mex has had a spin on the final lap. Oh, so close, and yet so far he's going to lose out to the 42 car and Fuertes as well. Will it be Miljevic as well? It won't be in class, so it doesn't matter in the end. But no, he will cross the line in 18th. And a night to forget. Miljevic crosses the line as well, and that will be the end of the session. So it will be Jonic to the checkered flag. Doyle will take second in the only BMW M4 to trouble the podiums. Dan Minton will come home in third. D'Couza will be the first of the two Porsches to finish side by side by 100th of a second from Matej Miksic. Schornbach will finish 7th with Van Coyle behind. Bellato 9th, Langdijk 10th, Drake 11th, Van Coyle in 12th, Concoli 13th, Doyle 14th, Nidazak in 15th, Bullion, Venter, Fuertes, Mex, Miljevic, Winkler, Robson, Bullion, Zivkovic with an awful closeout to the race. Wilson in 25th, I believe. Dupreece, Greening, and Andrew Brooker having a nightmare of pit stops and did get a plus 130 second penalty as well. I thought it was going to be longer than 30 seconds. And that just about rounds out our finishers. First into the combox, our race director, and a slightly easier evening for our very own Meli Bacho.
I nearly fell asleep.
I don't believe you.
Oh, and I'm sorry. I heard you when I was announcing some penalty. I heard that you actually called me, but
no, it's fine. I was going to ask you if you saw the almighty snooker that the one of the Lexus put on a Mercedes at turn 1.
I get. Yeah, we did.
It was.
There was a penalty as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a penalty. It was I can't remember if it was the 13 or the 15, but yeah, that was an incredible snooker.
It was 13.
It was 13, right?
Yeah, we got the right through, I think.
Yes, that makes absolute sense. So compared to last week, then I think this is going to be the highest matter of subject that we need to speak with you, as far as the stream is concerned. Driving standards and your perspective of the race as the race director. Give us the full rundown this time.
Oh, well, my expectations were not really high despite because of the conditions. I mean, we had one wet race last week. We saw how it went. And to have another wet race back-to-back, it was really a bold move. But I think it was a baptism of fire for many of drivers last week, and we made a pretty clear, pretty hammery message. Don't repeat what happened last time. You will be penalized, even harsher. And I don't know if there was more practice involved. The conditions were certainly not better. Or did everyone get the message that the race control will not be having too much fun? And yeah, I mean, the racing standards were pretty high tonight. I have to say congratulations from the bottom of my heart to all of the drivers that were involved, especially the top 3. Well, actually the top 5. We saw the fight for P3. It was amazing. And I have one question for you. Do you know who is leading the championship now by my calculations?
Haven't. I've got the driver's standings for Pro Up from the first couple of rounds, but I couldn't tell you.
For me, it looks like Matej Miksic will take the lead of the championship.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a massive accomplishment.
Absolutely. but also
And-
stellar performance by Jonic. Really good drive by Dan Minton as well. He will be there. I mean, what the retirement of Borowitz will certainly have a higher cost for him, because now even more drivers will be in for the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely do not. He's leading as of the end of Imola, but the decline has been stark. He won outright in Paul Ricard with that BMW M4. Imola, he only got as far as 7th. And tonight,
by the way, it's the old BMW.
M6, yes, of course. Yeah. So an entirely different set of rules, an entirely different BOP from all of the other BMWs, but still had an absolute nightmare of an evening.
Yeah, the conditions were really, really poor. I mean,
Yeah.
I tried this track in a safety car just to see how drivable it was, and with not enough drivers on track, it was really undrivable.
No,
like the car was aquaplaning all the time, and it's the Audi GT4 car, which weighs like 5 tons. If that thing aquaplanes, I cannot imagine how much it strikes, let's say, the McLaren or
of
or
course.
the Porsche. Yeah.
Oh, of course. But they all managed it. Do you think that, because we always seem to have with ISDA seasons that one race that people kind of sit up, pay attention, and go, okay, hang on, I actually need to take this seriously. Do you think that this might be the turning point where we start to see the best of ISDA that we're used to?
Well, tonight was definitely a peak, and I can only hope that it continues like this. We had some bigger discussions about the stewarding for last race, since a lot of penalties were applied. This time, luckily, we didn't have that much, so I think the message is out there. I think it's pretty well understood, and I'm thankful for all the drivers for their cooperation, as well as for the stewarding team that's actually enabling this. So I hope that we can maybe even ease off for the next few races, just to see if drivers are comfortable with each other. Let's not forget that there are a lot of new drivers here. By new, I don't mean inexperienced. I just mean drivers that didn't race each other yet and didn't race under our stewarding standards. So now I think that we made a point, we proved a point that it is possible to race in these kind of conditions very cleanly, and it was our drivers who demonstrated that. So really, kudos to everyone.
There we go. Words from the race director are the ones that weigh the most. Manny Bacho, thank you very much for dropping in, and thank you, as I said to Dane during the race, thank you for all the work that you do. It's appreciated by those of us who appreciate clean racing. I think it's fair to say.
It is, thank you.
You have a lovely evening, my friend, and I'll catch you in a bit.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Next into the combox, we will drag a certain Mr. Matej Miksik, who had... do you know what? It's not even saying anything if I say that you had a difficult evening or a difficult race, because I think everyone had a difficult race.
Yeah, exactly. But it was fun.
Yeah. Just losing out to the 80 car over the line. How's that feel?
Amazing. I mean, I'm not even sad because I lost that position, because that was the best finish I ever had, I think. It was awesome.
No, absolutely. It's. I think that kind of sums up the entirety of the race. We will save, for those of you in YouTube chat very quickly, we will save the winner for the end, for last, okay? So stick around. We will have words with the race winner. Don't you worry. But Matty, how was the Porsche tonight? Because it looked good. It didn't look like a Porsche, per se.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. In the quali it was feeling fine, and then when I started the race I saw, I think, Zoran and who was in front of me, I don't know, they had like almost a second faster laps than me, and I couldn't make it. I didn't have grip, and the car wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah,
I was really struggling in the beginning, and then after the pit stop, I also had some problems like that. But it was fun.
Of course, and that's what matters. We just had the race director in saying how the driving standards were vastly improved tonight. Is that what you saw as well?
Yeah, it was really good. Everybody was careful. I didn't see anybody spin. At least I don't remember. And the blue flags really respected us, the faster cars.
Yeah.
Even if I wasn't faster really, but they made it really easy to go through the traffic and everything. It was really nice to drive today.
Yeah, absolutely. And next time we go to Donington. Hey, you're coming up my gaff.
Yeah.
Next time out, we're at Donington. How we should see the Porsche should be strong there, right?
Yeah, I think so. I hope I can make a setup just for saving tires or something like that. If it will be dry or something, because I'm afraid of graining and tire wear. But otherwise, it's amazing there. The Porsche and the track is amazing and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Matty, thank you very much for the entertainment. Thank you very much for an incredible race win. I do think that's probably one of the closest that we've ever had at ISDA.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so.
It's hard to. I think it's going to be hard to beat. Really, is going to be hard to beat. You have a lovely rest of your evening.
Thank you, guys.
We'll catch you next week.
Yeah, thank you. Enjoy. Bye.
Cheers, mate. Next into the combox, we will have the number 80 car, the man who just pipped Matty to the checkered flag, Takusa. The Porsches struggled, I think it's fair to say. They didn't have their characteristic stability in the wet conditions. Was it a case of the rain just over, like, swamping the car, basically?
Well, first of all, hello there.
Hello, mate.
Yeah, I don't think the Porsche was that bad. I think I actually got the fastest lap of the race. So, I don't know what was going on there.
No, that's fair. And you did, I do believe that you just took 4th position away in the end from Matty.
Yeah, it was one of the closest finishes ever.
I was going to say, how nail-biting was that finish? And does it make... I mean, it makes a massive difference to you, because you're just behind Minton, and having that position gained means you lose out slightly less than you would have if you had have been in 5th.
Well, yeah, frankly, I didn't think about that at all. I'm here just to fight, just to race clean, race tight. That's what's it all about.
Awesome.
And this day was full of that.
I was going to say, speaking of racing close fights, how did today's race measure up in the scale of fights?
I'd say it's in the top 10, easy.
Good.
So many tight fights with Brooker. What's his name, Andrew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 3 Porsches, you had the most fun in the early to mid stages of the race.
Oh yeah. I think I went too wide with Brooker from Sunset to the SS.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. That was scary.
That's absolutely terrifying. Brave, terrifying, but it's good to have the trust in the rest of the drivers to be able to do that, to be able to run side by side and know that they're not going to snook you off.
Yeah, exactly. It's not something you can do in a pub lobby or something.
Absolutely. Once again, ISDA proving just how good racing can be, and when we all take it a little bit more seriously than not. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Lovely. It's very rare that I actually get to speak to you. So was there a reason you came to the combox tonight, or just because you had such a good time in the race?
Well, basically, yeah, I had such a good time.
Excellent.
I'm
Excellent.
usually racing in VR, so taking the headset off and trying to get the mic on, it's a pain. So
Understood. Understood. Well, you're a brave man to drive in VR. I don't know as I could tolerate it. Oh man, the motion sickness. But we'll have to have a word about that. We'll have to have words about that another time because racing in VR is absolutely incredible. I'm sure that must have added another level of fear to the race tonight.
Oh yeah, I mean, the rain everywhere is almost a nightmare. Can't see anything.
Well, how do you deal with, because obviously ACC has the overlay, where the overlay with the radar, so you can see. Do you have that up on the screen still?
Yeah, I do, but I don't have the virtual mirrors. That's missing in VR, but the overlay is there.
Right, so you still do have an awareness of where the cars are.
Oh yeah.
That's reassuring, but my goodness, it's still terrifying. I don't know how you do it. I really don't.
I recommend giving it a try. It's awesome.
I will at some point. I need to get my hands on a headset anyway. But
yeah, especially tracks where there are like big hills or something like that.
Mm.
Like Bathurst.
I was going to say, how
feel
does
it in the bottom of your stomach?
I was going to say, how does a Rouge feel?
Oh, Rouge isn't that bad because it's so long, but Bathurst is terrifying.
Well, you heard it here first. Bathurst is more terrifying than Spa.
Oh,
I think
anybody who disagrees is wrong.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with you at all. I'm really not. But Dakuzit, wonderful to get to speak to you. Best of luck through the rest of the season. This is going to do wonders for your run to the championship. Just behind Dan Minton at the moment, you had Vueltas, Bullion, Mixic, and Bravets in front of you. So I think you are probably going to take quite a few of those in the coming races. You're hoping for anything with regards to the championship, or are you just taking it race by race?
I'm taking it race by race because unfortunately I'll be missing the last race. I also missed the first one, so.
That's really unfortunate.
I'm in here just to have fun races.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, thanks you guys.
Yeah, you have a lovely evening, mate, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
And finally, into the combox, we will have your race winner, a man whose name I only learned to pronounce last week.
I forgot it for this one.
I did actually remember. Zoran Jonic. Congratulations. You are taking home the gold, and in what I can only describe as the wettest I have ever seen any track in ACC.
I actually can't believe that this happened. So yeah, it was super hard to keep the car on the track for the whole race. Crazy.
Well, on paper, you were walking away from the rest of the field. You had at least a 4 or 5 second gap before the pit stop window, and then when you came out, it kind of expanded anywhere up to like 10 to 12 seconds at times. On paper, it looks as though you had the measure of the field. You're telling me that wasn't the case?
Yeah. Well. At the beginning of the race, I think it was clean in turn 1. I gave enough room, and after that, I saw that I have some pace to extend my lead. And after I reached like 5 seconds, I don't know, I started to like control the race. Let's say it like that. But in the pits, someone I think took the sign for the pit stop entry, and I took it carefully there, entered the pits carefully, and I lost it like probably 2 seconds in the pits. And after that, like new tires felt like even more grip, and I don't know. I can't believe I don't know what happened in the end. It's crazy. Yeah, I didn't expect this. I said to my friends, like, I hope for top 10. I hope for safety cars, no incidents, no damage race for the first time. I can't believe it.
You were very, very popular in the YouTube chat throughout the race. There was one person who kept on putting. You'll have to help me with this. Jonic is my idol. Jonic drinks alcohol. Could you do us all a favor, because I need to know, how do you sing that properly?
I cannot do it.
Come on, please. You've just won the race. You've just won the race.
It's like translation from the Croatian
Sing
song.
it in Croatian then.
No.
Oh no, come on.
For the next time, if I win next one, I will sing it for entire song.
Right.
Is
Well,
that
we have that on record now. So if everybody parks it to the side so that you can take victory at Donington, we know why.
I can promise that. Okay. It's
So you only require 2 wins to be able to
because
sing it for us.
Actually, I cannot drink before the race, not even a sip. So after the race, maybe half a beer, then I can sing, no problem at all.
Oh no.
No.
Oh no.
that-
YouTube caught up, so now everybody wants you to sing.
Yeah, that's my buddies. Like they are crazy, so they follow me here because I'm the only one from them that was doing the sim racing, and we usually play like shooters games and stuff. So they are my huge support, and yeah.
Hey guys, come
Yeah.
sim racing. It's so much better than first-person shooters.
Yeah.
It's
I hope
so
so.
much better.
I hope so. Yeah, but we have like a few guys who could be probably good, and one guy who has like a big foot number, let's say like that. So probably we need to get him like huge pedals and stuff because he will press everything with one
Perfect.
foot. Yeah.
Get him a load cell.
Yeah.
Give him a 100-kilogram load cell and just be
Oh,
like, there you go,
probably.
do that.
200 would be fine.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Zoran, I mean, to say it's a popular win is an absolute understatement. To win in the way that you did tonight, I mean, it's going to be a very popular victory both in and outside of ISDA. It's one of my favourite wins for sure. I absolutely love the NSX, and I think you're a great guy as well. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a very, very popular win for you here, and it's a very big opportunity for you to kickstart a genuine championship push to take the win. We found out during the race that Filip Barvets is going to miss the next 2 rounds of the championship. With him out of the way, you taking the win tonight, I mean, you're not going to be far off fighting for the top 3 and even the overall championship lead if you can keep this pace up.
Well, I hope so that I can race every race, but in like 20 days I'm getting married. And
Oh my goodness.
I'm not sure that I can explain to my girlfriend like 2 days ago before everything that I have to race again. We'll see.
I think
What she says.
show her this interview, and I think she'll probably oblige.
Yeah, she knows that I won, and she was so happy. So I hope so that I can continue
Hopefully.
to race. Yeah.
Either way, congratulations on getting married. Best of luck for the big day, and enjoy. Bathe in the glory of an ISDA win in what can only be described as the flood. I think
Yeah, the flood.
the flood.
The flood. Full stop. That's it.
Yeah, I'm surprised at some point we didn't see Noah's Ark floating past in the background.
Yeah.
It was astonishing. Zoran, it's always a pleasure to speak to you, but tonight perhaps even more so. Congratulations, you are a winner at the International Sim Drivers Association.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Have a good evening, my friend. I'll
You
speak to you
too.
next time.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. And with that, is YouTube chat satisfied now? With all of that said, a big thank you goes out to all of our stewarding team and all of the crew that goes into the organisation of this. They have given us an incredible race tonight, as well as all the drivers who really stepped up with the driving standards. It's been a night of back-to-back constant fighting. The timesheets won't show that it was a hard-fought race, but we all know better. And until next time, where we get to go to my home track of Donington, one of two that I can claim here in ACC. My name is Midnight Sky. You've been watching the International Sim Drivers Association GT3 Spring Season for 2022. If you enjoy what we're doing here, be sure to hit up isdaracing.com, get yourself signed up both to the dashboard, get signed in to the Discord as well. And all of you guys who are friends with Zoran, get yourself involved here. Get yourself a basic sim rig and learn yourself some driving. We have Pro Class and Am Class to cater for all skill levels. And believe me when I say, I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart, there is no better place to learn to race. Thank you very much for watching, and I will probably end up seeing you next week, where we go to the Midlands in England